Hey, it's Faodail, and today I'm going to go over a pretty quick tip on things that I use Autopan for, because I feel like it's probably one of my most used, Ableton effects outside of like EQ and compression, and it can do a lot of really cool things when you automate it rather than just leaving it static. So this I figured this might be a useful thing to show you guys. So the first thing that I use it for is it's great for like little transitions and builds and intros and things. I'll show you an example of how I would use it. I'm going to take this piano and this track that I've used this track in a couple of videos now just because it's got a lot of elements for showing things, but if you want to see me put this together, there was an earlier video where I did a track from scratch to get to where we are just now, effectively. So if you want to check that out, it should be up somewhere in the hub. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piano here, and I'm going to create a little sort of reverse sound out of it. It's a pretty standard technique, this, just, taking a sound, sometimes putting a lot of reverb on it, put a little bit more reverb on it, and then reversing it, and then it sort of gives you that sucking feeling into the sucking feeling. It sort of eases transitions effectively. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to resample the chords here. I'm just going to, I think I've got a new track here. Yep. Got a new track here. I'm just going to jump into resample, record it. What did it trigger? There must be some sort of rogue MIDI data there, but that's fine. We just want this much anyway. So what I'm going to do is, and this is a technique I use quite a lot, I'm just going to go down, I'm going to shift it a tiny bit just so we don't get the sort of initial kind of attack of the piano. Just extend a little bit. See, we have this little bit here before it plays. I don't want that. I'm just going to take this here, and then we can put a little bit of fade on it. So show you how that sounds just on its own before we start doing anything. Really nice, super, like almost a cliched sound at this point. It's using a ton of stuff, but we can use Autopan to make it sound a hell of a lot more interesting. So if we take Autopan here, let's filter Autopan. I'm just going to automate the amount so that it starts off sort of no movement and then it slowly moves out to the side. And then we can also automate the rate as well. It's going to give you a really cool sounds here. So let's see how that sounds now. Automate this just to make it even more obvious. And then what we can also do, just bring it out a little bit more, is add a little bit of distortion to it. I'm not going to go too crazy, but and there we go, super cool sounds. You need to sort of match it with the piano and stuff, but it's really, yeah, if you put it in context here, if we show you before that, this was a sort of intro section. Okay, sounds cool, but then when we put this in, sounds even cooler, just gives it a bit of sort of interest. And when you're listening to this in headphones or anything like that, you're going to get that cool like swirling around your head. Super cool sound, in my opinion, one that I use a lot. Another thing that I use Autopan for is if we find a cool kind of pad sound here, probably this one. Yep. So I'm just going to make this a bit more sustained. And then if we take a couple of auto pans, I'll just do it on this one first, and then we can copy it over. And then we, essentially what I'm going to do here is have a couple of different auto pans, but I'm going to bring down the phase so that all of a sudden it's not panning, it's just affecting volume. Make it really obvious. Okay, so we've got that here. And then if I take another one, but then have it moving at a different rhythm, we even change the shape. Let's put it in with some drums just to get the context of the rhythm. Even turn up the offset a little bit, and that will spread it out a little bit. And then what we can also do is bring these in and out, so they're sort of dancing around each other. I'm just going to turn off this super plate here, and I'm going to really distort this just to kind of bring out the effect a bit more. Automate the phase to sort of slowly make it wider. We're great for kind of builds and, you know, in sections where you can hear it slowly spreading out. You can see how they're sort of intermingling with each other. It would maybe work better if we put it on just that kind of more sustained sound. So let's try it on these strings here. This would be kind of cool. Basically want these sort of, as one drops out, another one coming in. Without. Kind of there, then with all this nice movement, we can expand it out to make it more stereo if we want. Using the phase, we can bring it in. We can change the shape. But you can see how just with something as simple as Autopan, you can almost start to get these real big, like almost granular sounds and movements and stuff. So yeah, this is a really cool one, especially if you have a sound like strings, for instance, especially these sort of Spitfire Evo strings, which are really cool, where there is already a lot of built-in movement, and then you use something like Autopan to give it even more movement. It's great for, you know, breakdowns and things. You can have it slowly start with no movement and then slowly fade in the auto pans and stuff. So yeah, that was just a really quick video on the kind of things that I use Autopan for. I think it's easy to kind of overlook the you know, how creative you can get with it, especially because it is a relatively simple plugin. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts if this is a technique you're going to use. Any questions, as always, shoot me a message or comment down below. And yeah, until next time, I'll catch you guys later.